All right, good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for Friday, March the 29th. It's officially the last day of trading for the month. This concludes the month of March, and what a month of March it was indeed. We're now entering into April because after March comes April, I think. And April tends to be the last volatile month before we start to slow down for summer mode. We will be getting prepared for that and giving you some guidance as well. We'll share a strategy and how we slow down for summer months in order to be successful. But you do have to make some key changes in your trading strategy, especially if you're day trading, all right, and swing trading. So in today's morning market update, let's start out with a little fun fact. The S&P 500 is now up 12.3% for the entire quarter. Considering where we end at today's session at 4 p.m., that number will change obviously a little bit. The S&P is on pace for its best first quarter since 1998. Huge rally. Stocks are on pace for their strongest performance in any quarter since September of 2009. So we're seeing really broad market participation, and this thing's starting to rally. I do think we could be headed for new all-time highs here. In fact, I am looking at new all-time highs as the next move, and the next 50 to 100 points looks like it will be to the upside, of course, with some pullbacks. All right, today we're going to talk about the massive IPO, and in this morning's session on the opening bell, Lyft the ride-hailing company, will not technically, but officially be public. All right, the company is going public. You're going to be able to trade Lyft shares and buy them. Now, it's going to be a long list of 2019 companies that are waiting for IPO. Uber is one of them. Lyft hit the market first. Lyft has raised $2 billion so far in the primary market. The way these IPOs work, it's called an initial public offering. They approach a bank underwrites their whole IPO, and then they go out and find investors to buy those shares. All right. This IPO was oversubscribed. There was a lot of demand for it, and so very little retail investors actually got a piece of that primary market, which means you're buying it before it's even public. What happens is they have a share float. They want to raise $2 billion. All right, they aim for a share price depending on the demand. They started somewhere in the mid-20s for a share price, and it quickly rallied up to $70. There's a hot IPO. There's a lot of demand for it, and institutional money is already long. Very few retail investors get to participate in these IPOs. If you're one of the lucky ones that went in on a waiting list through your brokerage firm and got some allocation, I'd love to hear it. If any of you got IPO shares, please pop it in the comment box below. I'd love to congratulate you. The valuation for the Lyft IPO is $24 billion, and that's a pretty steep number, but it's not a massive whopping valuation that's over 100 billion because they're not selling a lot of shares. So here's the ticker symbol, LYFT, Lyft. That's the name of their company as well. So if you're out there starting a business, if you start a 4-letter business, you could one day be listed on the public market with your 4 letters. So Lyft will be trading publicly. Now, here's the big question. Is it a good time to buy Lyft? Now, we know what IPO stands for. I just mentioned it, initial public offering. Now, let me give you another alternative for what IPO stands for. It's probably overpriced, IPO. That's the kind of the joke in the trading industry. Here's why. By the time you get a chance to jump on board, I've seen this numerous times. I've seen this with Snapchat. That was a highly anticipated stock, and I was right. Unfortunately, I don't want to be right with these kind of things because it's not a rosy prediction. Here's what happens. It goes IPO. The first day, it booms. It goes up 5, 6, 7%. We're going to see what it's like today. It's going to rally up. And then after that, it gets sold a lot. All right. And there's something called an initial lockup period. So executives are not allowed to sell, and any shareholders of Lyft are not allowed to sell shares typically until the 6-month period, which is called a lockup, which means if you're a Lyft employee and you have a couple thousand shares and you want to get paid and convert those shares into money because now it's a public company, it's easy to do. In a private company, it's hard to sell your shares. You got to do a private placement. You got to get all these people to value the company. Sometimes there's no market for it. Nobody wants those shares. All right. So now that it's public, it's easy to sell your shares, but all employees are restricted from selling shares until 6 months. Guess what's going to happen in 6 months? Everybody's going to start selling at the same time, and this thing's going to nosedive. So this is the history of an IPO. This is the typical trajectory. Up the first day, struggles for the next 2 to 3 months, has a little bit of an upswing as more investors get optimistic, and then 6 months in, the lockup expires, whack, the thing gets hammered 10, 15, 20% lower. So I'm not saying don't buy it. If you really feel optimistic and you want to throw in a limit order today and get long Lyft, great, good for you. I won't be doing that. I think it's a very risky move. It's similar to buying a top, except you don't know where the top is and you don't know where the low is, and you can't really pinpoint a price because this is the first price it's ever trading at. So usually the advice I give some people is to that look to buy IPOs is give it a few months, allow this thing to give us some sense of how it's going to move and some price action. All right, let us find some good low risk, high opportunity levels. All right, and let technicals have a chance to work. Because if you're looking at technical analysis right now, you have nothing to see because it's just starting. All right, put a 50-day moving average on there. What are you going to see? Nothing. There's no 50 days. So there's no volume. What's average volume? Nobody knows. There's a lot of unanswered questions. And I got to tell you this, as an investor for the longer term, you have to have answered questions before it converts into a trading opportunity or even investment opportunity. So my advice is wait it out. IPO stands for it's probably overpriced. Don't let, if you're looking to buy it and you're saying I'm going to wait 2 months, let this thing settle in. The first day goes up 10%. That's the worst time to jump in. Say, oh, it's up 10%. It's going to go up 10% more. Just be calm, be patient. All right, more IPOs that come out follow that trajectory. Some notable exceptions are Google. I remember Google's IPO literally took off, it lifted, and it never fell back down. It did afterwards, but about a year and a half into it, then it saw some downside. The other IPO was Facebook. Facebook's followed a similar trajectory. Went IPO, went up a little bit, crashed. People were like, oh my God, how is this company going to ever make money? Their mobile platform sucks. Then they started serving mobile ads, and now it's one of the more valuable companies. All right, so Lyft, it's coming on board today. I'm saying that's a hard no to buy it unless you want to buy a top. And yeah, that's that. All right, that's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. Again, at the end of the day, the beautiful thing about investing is we're responsible for our own results and decisions and outcomes and actions. So whatever makes sense for you, don't let me discourage you or persuade you. Take the opinion, run it through your filters, and see what makes sense for you. All right, it's going to be fun. We'll look at it today throughout the trade room. Equities get a boost overnight from trade talks. Stocks are up for the session. China closed up 3.2% positive. Huge rally in Asia. Europe's up about 0.5% in total. U.S. futures pointing to about a 0.4% rally so far. Because Steve Mnuchin said yesterday, walking out of his hotel, that we had a very productive working dinner last night with Chinese Vice Premier Liu He. All right, for a second day of trade talks. So these trade talks are starting to boost some optimism. And the market these days is catching a bid off of just optimism. It doesn't need details. It's looking for reason to go up and ignoring reasons to go down. All right, that's what you call a bull market. Even though the economy is deteriorating, stocks are charging ahead. And before a sell-off, I could see the S&P 500 breaking above the previous all-time high and making one last run. Why? It's important for it to do that. Markets don't crash from lows, they crash from highs. Always remember that. And when a stock goes up, or markets go up, they're going to finally pull everybody in off the sideline to get long. And when everybody off the sideline that's in cash now buys the stock, all right, and anyone that's been short gets squeezed above the previous highs because a lot of institutions are short, and everyone rolls back their hedges saying, oh, I'm going full bull mode here. All the CTAs unwind their hedge positions. That all creates buyers. And when all that happens, now everybody's bought and it's a market high. And when everybody's bought, when you buy something and you're long, you're not a long position anymore. You're a seller. You're sell liquidity. You're a seller waiting to get traded through. And that puts liquidity to the downside. Inevitably, everybody's long and everyone's got stop positions. We go down. All right. So at the peak of optimism is the peak opportunity for the short. That's unfortunately how this market works. And that's, if we just realize that one thing, the journey's so much easier. You look at how I traded yesterday. I could have listened to this morning market update, and that would have helped. All right, in Asia, Japan's up 0.8%, Hong Kong's up 1%. Like we said, China's up big. In Europe, London's up 0.3, Paris is up 0.6, Frankfurt's up 0.4. Futures in the U.S., Dow's up 0.3, S&P's down 0.2 overnight, Nasdaq up 0.3%, green across the board. Crude oil is having one heck of a day. It's up over to the $60 marker, and it hit 60.74. 60.80 has got some big liquidity on crude, and we're up big. We're up over 1.5% at this point. Gold prices are flat. Bitcoin's up 1.8% to almost $4,100. And on the economic front, at 9:30, we have Feds Williams speaking. 9:45, we have Chicago PMI. It used to be a much bigger number. Now it's more muted, doesn't have as much impact on the markets. 10 a.m. new home sales, 10 a.m. consumer sentiment. So top of the hour, we're going to have some news statements. 10:30, Fed's Kaplan speaking. 12 o'clock, Randall Quarles speaking on macro prudential policy. I don't have an idea what that is, to be honest with you, but he'll be speaking about it. And then 1 p.m., Baker Hughes rig count, which is going to be very important for oil traders. That's the latest look at offshore drilling and oil production in the United States. All right, how many rigs are out there in the seas trying to extract that good old black gold from the ground, deep in the depths below? All right, reminds me of the movie Deepwater Horizon. That's what we got for the day. Today is the last day of the month and the last day of the quarter. So I'm looking for some bullishness. I think at the quarter end, you're going to see some mutual funds and ETFs rebalance. And because it's the last day to get long stock, I mean, they've already been getting long. You could see it on the charts. Volume's pretty heavy, and we're trading towards the highs of the ranges. We broke out overnight over this China development and optimism with no details. But hey, you can't question what the market's doing. You just got to go with it. If you're out there trying to be right, you're having a hard time at the best of days. If you're out there trying to get paid without being right and letting go of this ego attachment, it's really good. The market treats you well. All right, so I'm seeing some more upside today. Off the open, and I see a little bit of sell-off more than likely down to some key support structure. Then we're going to find our way higher throughout the session. I'm looking at the same for oil. I think the first trade of the day will probably be a fade down to support. And then if you're not comfortable fading, wait for the sell-off down to support and get long. Oil's going to have some more legs to the upside. All right, that's what I got for you guys today. Have yourself a great day. Last day of the week, last day of the quarter. Hope you guys have had a great trading week and a great trading quarter. We'll see you on Monday at 9 a.m. And tomorrow we have 2 videos coming. Tomorrow we have 1 video, Sunday 1 video at 3 p.m. Eastern. One's how to make $300 a day trading, and the other one was I totally forgot. But you guys will see it this weekend, and you can remind me. Thank you so much. Have a great day. The poll results were in from yesterday. Everybody wants to see a seasonality video around how to trade in the summer, so we're going to do that for you. All right, and I'm going to start working on it pronto. You guys have a great day. Awesome weekend to you and your families. I send you all love, joy, and happiness. Let me turn around, open up the trading room, set some levels, and start trading. You guys take care. Have a great day. All right, trade pros in the room. Let's get in here, draw some support structure, and set up some trade opportunities. I got some market stats for you on what we can expect for the session, but I will start by drawing the zones and the opportunity levels, and we're going to queue some stuff up. I'm excited for the day-to-day trading. So let's get started. I'll kick it off. Victoria will do NASDAQ, and then we'll send it out to our oil desk to do some analysis on oil.